Hi everybody, today we'll be exploring a simple tutorial on After Effects. So today we'll try and recreate this here, which is a simple animation. On Sunday we experienced an eclipse, and what I've created is an artificial eclipse here on After Effects. You can see that we're kind of twisting through the planet, and you have the eclipse happening before your eyes as the moon goes in between the earth and the sun. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. Let me go ahead and stop that, and I can explain how this works. So if you go to the left hand side here, you're going to see that there's a couple layers. The first layer here, if I deselect the eye, you can see is basically the earth layer. Now that earth layer I'll explain in a second, and if I turn that off here and I turn off the next layer, you can see that's the moon layer there. And then if I turn on the next layer, you can see that that's the light layer. Once I turn off that, you can see that this is just simply a kind of sun looking spot, sun globe. And then from down there I can turn off this kind of haze, and that's what kind of gives the small glow from the earth. And other than that, this is simply a Milky Way background. Now there's many ways to create this type of effect, so I'm going to go ahead and go through that now. First what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. I should have done that before, but I haven't, so I'm going to save that as here, desktop, and call that Eclipse graphic. Okay, I'm going to save that on my desktop. Very good. One foot file saved are missing because couldn't be located. You can use file. Okay, very good. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and click New Composition. And when you first get started, the first thing you need to know is you need to always start a new composition. So if I quit After Effects, or what I can do is I can close project, this is what it looks like when you first open After Effects from the beginning. So it should look like this when you first open it. Now if you want to start, you can always go to Composition and click New Composition, and then you should see this window. This window is basically your composition. It's the foundation of all graphics you're going to create. There's a couple of different variants here that you can use. The first one is for standard definition, 540 kind of 540 diameter, and for web 320 by 240 if you want to make a web graphic. But most likely if you're dealing with video, you're going to deal with 720p or 1080p. There's a couple settings. I usually like to stick with HDTV or HDV. For today we'll stick with HDV and 720. Unless you're doing film, a documentary, you would want to use 1080. But if you're just using a small YouTube video, then you want to stick with 720. 720 is more than enough. You can do 25 frames per second, or you can do 30 frames per second. For this one, I want to give it maybe a film look, so I'll click 24 frames per second, and here's the duration of the clip. I'm going to make it 14 seconds here, so 14 seconds will be the duration of my film. And to begin, I'm going to change the background and make it black here. You can make it any color you'd like. Then from here I'm going to click OK. Now you can see if I zoom in and out of here, scrolling with the mouse, I can kind of look at my composition. First thing I want to do is I want to do right click and I want to import. There's a couple of files on my desktop here that I want to use. You can really find any file you want online if you go online and Google space or anything like that. What I have found to be very useful is this space background here and the Milky Way background also that I'm going to be using, and there's also an earth background and stuff like that that we're going to be creating. So to start, we're going to create these two compositions here, and I'm going to import these. Once that's done here, you're going to see the first one is the Milky Way Galaxy, and what that is a basic Milky Way background type of thing. This is very big, so since we're looking at it from Earth, you want to open up the transform and position, and the scale. You want to go ahead and click the scale, and you want to scale back, because from Earth this is really what you're going to look at. If you were closer to the center of the Milky Way, maybe you'd be looking from this direction, but since we are very far, we're kind of on the edge of the Milky Way, the Earth is, and the Sun in our solar system is kind of on the edge of our own galaxy, the Milky Way Galaxy. We want to zoom that out and be further back here. You can also simply grab this and move that there, and you could also use that and you could shrink. So if you want to do it that way, you could shrink that way also. So you can do it any way you'd like. And then I'm going to lift this because it's going to be up a little bit here. Okay, and once that's set, then you can move on to your earth layer here. This earth layer, I'm going to drag right on top here to the top of here. Now you can see this is a very huge earth layer here, so you might want to go back and close this one, open that one, click the transform, and you want to do scale. You want to scale that down. As you can see, it's a very big photograph of the earth, and it was actually taken from maybe NASA when they were on one of their trips there to the International Space Station. So basically that's it here. You can see that this is a NASA picture, and I can go ahead and enlarge that a little bit bigger if I'd like here, and I'm probably only going to be using that, or maybe even this side here, or I think this one looks more realistic here, so we'll probably be only using like that much. So what you want to do here is you want to grab your tool here and click that. It's a pen tool, and what you really want to do now is you want to mask that there, kind of follow the edge here and mask it. Then you're going to go up here and click that. Once that's masked here, you want to go back to the left, open up the mask, and open up the mask tool here, and you want to invert. Okay, once you're inverted, then you can click the mask and feather, and you can kind of feather that in any way you'd like here to make it look realistic. I'm going to click this one. The second one is the one I usually use, so I'm going to feather that down. Now you can see I can feather that up and down here. I can just do a small feather, and it looks very realistic there. So I'll go back to arrow, and there you have it. You're up on planet Earth here, and you can zoom. If this is too much for your computer, you know you're having problems, you can also zoom in and take a look at that and see exactly how you want to feather this here to make it look natural. Once that's done, you can click the background and see how it looks. Looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to keep it that way. And what I want to do is I want to add some keys, so I can close the mask, and I'm going to start here and add a position key. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that here maybe to the end, 14 seconds, and I'm just simply going to move that whole thing to the right. What that does is it creates this kind of moving as if we're up in space and we're traveling along the side of the planet. We're orbiting across the planet there. Okay, and from here you can add a small maybe blur, motion blur, so it looks a little bit more realistic. And you can also double click these keyframes, right click, and then click here, keyframe assistant, and you can click easy ease, so that'll give it a nice ease as it transforms there like that. Okay, once that's done here, we're going to move on to the next things. And plus, if it's too difficult, you can click half. By clicking half, your computer won't work as hard to create these compositions, so it'll only use half resolution to do that. Now the background back here, the Milky Way background, also is kind of stagnant. It's not moving. So to give the effect, you want to go ahead and open up, you can collapse that, open up the Milky Way Galaxy, click position here also, and you can move to the end of the 14 clips. And since that Earth is moving that way here, you could, let's see, you can grab that and move it to the right here like that. So then it looks like they're moving the opposite ways and you're kind of traveling through space. The same thing here, you want to go ahead and click both of these keyframes, and you want to click right click here, keyframe assistant, and easy ease, and you can also put motion blur there. Now we're almost there. It looks pretty good so far. I mean, it looks like we're moving through space here. It looks realistic. And what you can do is you can do right click, import file. Now I have some amazing files here that I've been using for a long time, and they're on my my hard drive, but there's other ways to get these files. You can go online and you can kind of basically search them. You can search them online and see if you'd like them, if you could find them on Google Images. If not, you can go to you know, you can look online and see where you can get them, but I have them myself. They're under my graphics. So if I go to my hard drive here, I have this all graphics, and I have wallpapers that I have, you know, collecting for many years. Now I'm going to use my space wallpaper. Oh, sorry, my NASA Earth. And what I'm going to import is I'm going to import two important pictures. The first one I'm going to import is of the moon here. So let me show you what that looks like. Here's the moon here, and it's called Moon BMP. If you search it, you will find it. And then I'll also import this sun here. Import both of those there. Now here is a picture of the moon, of the Earth. So if I want to, of the sun, I apologize, the sun. So if I want to use this, all I need to do is open it up, transform, and I can scale this down to size, you see, and it looks like a real sun. Then what I can do is I can grab, let's see, a shape layer, let's see, shape layer, and click ellipse tool. Then I could basically just make a circle around it, and if I want to move that, I can move it anywhere I'd like here. Can get that in here right anywhere I'd like, move that back here, get it just the way I like it, and right there. And then I'm going to readjust this one here. Alright, so now you have the Earth there. And the best thing to do is open up that mask and feather. Feathering is the key to many things in After Effects. You got to know how to feather. Feathering is really important. So now I have my sun. The problem with the sun is that it's kind of too big. So what I can do is I can collapse the mask, and I can scale that down to size, so I can make it look like it's way out there in the distance. And then I can reposition that anywhere I want. Here it is, and there goes the sun. Okay, so there you have it. There's my sun. And then the moon. The moon is a little bit different. Sorry, I'm going to close that. The moon is a little bit different because it's actually a small layer. It's a small layer. Let me collapse that so you can see. If I scale the moon down, you can see it's a flat layer. It's actually a flat layer of the moon. Now there's a trick on After Effects, and that's CC Sphere. If you type into this right hand corner CC Sphere, you're going to see this plugin. You grab that plugin, you put it right on top there, and boom, it makes a circle out of the moon. So you see how easy it is here to create some type of eclipse. It looks very natural and looks like, you know, a very simple eclipse. If I want to scale it, I can just scale it as big as I want, small as I want. You can make it really any size you'd like. I think there is just about right. What makes this also fascinating is if I close the transform, open up the effects, I can open up the CC Sphere controls, and I could really adjust the lighting intensity here. I can make it really bright like that. I can also adjust the light height, so I can make it look really dark and really light. I can make it really go anywhere I'd like here. And the second thing you can do is you can also turn it and rotate. So if I open up rotation, I can rotate it anywhere I'd like, any direction I want. I can make it spin. I can really do anything I'd like here, move in any direction that I want to use it. So it looks good there, so I'm going to stop there. Now, I'm almost there, but it's not exactly an eclipse yet. So what I need to do is I need to go back to the project panel, and I'm going to close this and minimize that. I'm going to go right click, new adjustment layer. Now this is very important. You click the adjustment layer here, then you go up to animation and effects, and I have these things called lens flares. Now if you go here and you search lens flares on the right hand corner, lens flare, you can grab any lens flare you want. There's only one actually, so it's the only option, and it makes it look like there's light emanating from this layer here. And if I grab the center here, I can move that, you know, anywhere I want. And what you want to do is put this lens flare behind the moon, so that way it looks like it's coming from behind and it looks like the sun. And then you can also raise the intensity, so you can make it almost nothing, you can make it really intense, so it looks like light is coming through there. And you can change it to 35 millimeter, you can change it to 105 millimeter, just to get the feeling you want. For me, I'm going to delete this lens flare because that's a simple one, and I have an advanced one, so I'm going to show you the advanced one here. I'm going to put this layer back on top here. In order for the advanced one, you have to have this plugin from videocopilot.net. It's called Optical Flares. It does cost money, but it's worth it if you want to spend the money. You click options, and I have all these different lens flares that I can use. Motion graphics, Pro presets. I'm going to click Pro presets and I'm going to pick something really fancy. Something that looks like it's coming right from the sun. And let's see what I can use here. Maybe I'm going to go back and click natural flares here. Let me see. I really like this one. That looks like it's coming from the sun. So I'm going to click OK. Looks perfect. Looks exactly like I want it. And now you're almost there, but I need to put this on transparency or on over original. Boom, there you have it. I'm going to put this behind the moon, and then I'm going to move the optical center right over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the intensity so it looks like it's coming from the sun here. Then I'm going to do the scale, make it a little bit bigger here. And then I'm going to do the rotation here a little bit. Okay, so now you see it looks like a real sun. The light is coming out of it. The light from the sun is coming here. So that's pretty much it to this type of tutorial. The most important thing now is to playing with the presets, and I'll show you how to do it briefly, to play with these presets to get a good feeling. The most important thing here with the presets is the moon. You want to transfer the moon. So what you'll really have to do is called keyframing. So keyframing, the first thing you'll have to do, if I close the CC sphere, I'll open transform, and if I click position, I can move the position up and down. I can move position left and right. So I'm going to start by putting the position to the right here, and then I'm going to click this stopwatch, which is basically saying, you know, I'm going to start my timer now. And then I'm going to move this all the way to the end here, and then I'm going to move the moon right over like that. So what's happening is you're watching this eclipse happen in real time until you get the eclipse here. So what I can do is I can even make this move a little bit further here and stop it at 12, and then you could stop and put your tagline or anything. So that looks pretty good. You can see my eclipses happening there, but it still doesn't look realistic, and that's because it's not turning. So you can still hold onto these keyframes, right click them, it selects both of them, and then click easy ease, so it looks still more natural as it come in here. And then what you can also do is adjust the lighting. So if I close this transform, I open CC sphere, I'm going to adjust the rotation. So I'll click the Y axis here, and then I'll put this to the end here, and I'm going to click this and rotate it that way. So you can see now all of a sudden the moon is actually rotating and turning as it gets there. Now if it doesn't, if that looks too slow, what you can do is you can give it a huge rotation, so you can actually really rotate it as much as you can. So now it's rotating very fast and it looks more realistic here. And you can also do some fun stuff like lighting. So if I start with the lighting over here, you can see the light is bouncing off the planet and then reaching me here. And you can see there's a cast here because the light is not reaching there, it's on that side. So what you can do is you can adjust the height of the light, so you can see there's light there and there's no light in the back. So you can start there and click a keyframe. Then as you go over here, let's see what we can do. We can then rotate that light here. Let's see, maybe we can redo that. Let me see. I'm going to close this lighting here, and it's kind of dark there, so I'm going to make it really light there like that, almost like you can see. There you go. And then when I come and then click a keyframe here, and then when I move over here, I can then create the eclipse, so it's like a blackness. So I can then make the let's see, make it black like that, completely black, so it looks like an eclipse. So it's going to go here, the light's going to turn around, it's going to rotate here, and boom, it's completely black here. Boom, it's completely black here. So you can also play with that to get the right settings. It will take some time here to get the right settings, to get that right. But you can spend your time to do that. And you can also adjust a keyframe for the light intensity, and maybe lower that here, and then as you come into here, maybe raise the intensity a little bit here, like that, like it's getting really bright, but it's also dying out as it gets bright. So it gets brighter as it gets closer, and then it gets really dark. That might give a good effect. Now, we still have a problem because the sun isn't really moving and it doesn't look realistic here. So what you can do is then you can go back to that adjustment layer down here. You can close the moon, open the adjustment layer, and you have a white here. Maybe give it a red, you know, a reddish yellow maybe. Maybe that looks more realistic here. Yeah, like a yellow here and a reddish yellow. That looks more realistic here. And what you can do from here is you can lower the brightness. You can see the sun here, and you can even lower the opacity. So you go to transform here, lower the opacity a little bit here, and the brightness can be up here like that. And then what you can even do is you can get the sun here, and you can do the rotation of the sun. So you can actually rotate that. If you click here and you click rotation, and you move over here, you can get a little rotation going like that. So as it's going here, 1 second guys. Hey Philly, I'm in the middle of a tutorial online that I'm creating. Everything okay? Alright, that's okay. I'll give you a call in about a minute when I'm done with this tutorial, okay? Alright, bye. Alright. So that's my friend Philly. We're throwing a tournament, the Long Beach Internationals this year, and the Disneyland, the Origins International Kung Fu Championships also. So you want to study, you want to go compete for that, let us know. We'll get you hooked up there. So we're almost there. Now the problem with this is that the adjustment layer, the lens flare, is not really up to date yet. So if I open up that, I can click, let's see, I can click a rotation. So I can click the rotation, then I can move over here, and I can give it a little bit of rotation by just moving that. Notice how it moves a little bit, and that'll give it, like, you know, it's kind of turning and twisting. So kind of a turning and twisting rotation thing. So it looks a little bit realistic, and that might help out a little bit more. And then you can also adjust the brightness. So if you go here, push brightness here, you can move up here and then give it some real brightness as it comes in here, like that. So it's really getting some brightness, and it's kind of getting bright. And if it's still not good enough, you can also just raise that opacity, so it gets a really good look. And that's about it, guys. I mean, you can kind of play with the settings and get any feeling you want, and kind of play. And if you want to do some nice text or something, you can open up a new layer. So I'm going to close that and right click new layer and text. Once that's there, you know, click the text box and put something like that, and put like you know, Solar Productions. You know, you can do something fun like that, you know, and then make a enter here, get that over, and you know, maybe you can put that here. Wait, how do you spell solar, Patty?
S-O-L-A-R.
Thank you very much. S-O-L-A-R. Just checking my Microsoft Patricia Word file here. And once that's done here, you can see it's nice and set. I can do something fun. I can add an animation. So if I close these words here, it's going to go to animation here. And then I'll click that, open up a text, maybe put a blur effect, and evaporate. That's nice. Put that in there. And then from here, you can see, boom, my text will evaporate when it gets to the right place, like that. Boom, like that. And then what I can do is I can just open that up, maybe do a simple opacity and turn that down to 0 so it disappears. Then I can go up here and put a keyframe. If I want, I can move that keyframe also and put it like just towards the end here. And then when it gets in here, I can just put that blast to 100. So then it, right when it gets to here, it goes Solar Productions, and then it disappears like that. So let's take a look. Let's see what it looks like. Boom. It's going to render this in half quality, and we'll see what it looks like, you know. It's just kind of a fun little animation we can play with to see how we can create these kind of fun little things. So here it is, Solar Productions. So we'll play it one more time from the top. Here's our eclipse. Eclipse happens, boom, solar productions, and then it comes out, bam. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This is mostly for my good friend Wesley. He just got After Effects installed in his computer, and he really wanted to know how to use After Effects. Also, Natasha Cordova, I know she wants to learn a little bit of After Effects, and any of you guys, if you really want to learn After Effects, this is a great program to create special effects for your film and all of that. So I hope you had a good time, and please have fun. Oh, before we go, I'm going to show you how to export. Go to Composition, and first put this to full resolution here, so you get all of your pixels. Then go to Composition and put in Add to Render Queue. Now if you're using a Mac, click Format Options, and if you're using a Mac, use Apple ProRes 422 HQ. If you're not using a Mac, stick with animation. And if animation is too big, you're using a PC, you can also use Photo JPEG. Where's Photo JPEG? Here. Photo JPEG is very good, and it's a low resolution, but it looks very high quality too. So if you're worried about disk space, and you know those other things they're crashing your PCs, use Photo JPEG. It's just as good. Other than that, you want to stick with ProRes. That's a native format for any software that video editing, like a Final Cut Pro 10, Final Cut Pro 7. You want to use ProRes. I'm going to use high quality and 100% quality. Push OK here. Composition, you want to save that to the desktop. I'm going to say Solar Productions. Okay, here it is, and save. Then push render, and it'll take a couple seconds to render out. Here it is, it's rendering out now. Let me see, it says it's going to take 9 seconds, so 10, 11 seconds, here 13 seconds. So you can see it's playing it as it goes, and it's rendering out this high quality example here. Once it's completely rendered, then you can kind of open that up like a normal file with your software. If you're using Final Cut Pro 10, just open that up, and you can put that in the beginning of your film, or your YouTube video, and then you'll have a small little intro that's very eye-catching. When people see graphics like that, they'll take you more serious. If you just put simple text, sometimes they won't take you serious. They'll say, oh, this person's just a beginner. But if you create a nice animation like this, people really take you seriously. They look at you and they're like, wow, that's amazing. I can't believe they created that. So use that to your advantage. Take your time, create some nice animations, and use that to your advantage to get your audience, to get them hooked on your videos and whatever product you're trying to show or whatever you're trying to promote. So here it is. It will ring like that. I can close that, and you can see it's right here. I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to play that for you. You can see high quality how that looks. So it looks pretty good. You can see the solar eclipse is happening there. And 1, 2, 3, and Solar Productions, and we're out. So there you go. I hope you had a good time. Wesley, have a good one, and keep trying to create new stuff. And